very well today in the open class. Now has a chance to get a checkered flag since they're splitting the awarding of trophies for deep V hulls versus the catamarans, which was introduced by Superboat Racing this year. So in the deep V class, they're presently running in first place. Last year at this same race, they had a manufacturer's defect which caused them just to miss out on a checkered flag. That defect was in a faulty C strainer which cost them the race and they were forced to drop out. A 45-foot Apache powered by three 1,000 horsepower CNG engines with Mercury outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Alan Feingold of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Throttling today is Jerry Davis from Philadelphia, and from Voorhees, New Jersey, it's the navigator Bobby Horn. So Horn, Davis, and Feingold making up the Kid Apache Kid race team. And 92 has been very good to Feingold and his crew. They're in first in the OPT standings in the Super V class. Rivals in excess. That's another 47-foot Apache. We've got two Apache racing boats going at it. Feingold would love nothing more than to pass the InXS race team. Then going on the outside of Cobra Marine, I've got Tweet Revenge there. I also see Mean Streak. There's Tweet Revenge, and behind Tweet Revenge, it's Mean Streak. And then on the outside of them, it's Sunoco, the Gifford Racing Team Sunoco. And then we've got Dirty Laundry there. And then right there in your picture, it's Cobra Marine, Tweet Revenge, and Kid Apache. This is officially underway. We've got the green flag, and the 1992 New York National Offshore Championship is officially underway. And right there in your picture, we've got Kid Apache Kid on the inside, Tweet Revenge on the inside, and Sunoco Gifford Racing on the outside. There's your first three boats taking off right there. Bill Gifford on the outside in Gifford Racing Sunoco. Tweet Revenge in the middle of the pack, and In Excess on the inside. That's Kid Apache on the inside, excuse me. In Excess is coming up behind Kid Apache Kid. At the start right now. What an exceptionally strong running boat, and that's Joe Mack's Dirty Laundry going by everyone on the outside. As they pass Kid Apache Kid. And there's Tweet Revenge in the middle of the picture. Gifford Racing Sunoco is right there in front of Tweet Revenge. Joe Mack's Dirty Laundry really starting to stretch it out over the field. He's running first right now and really looking strong. But Budweiser is coming up to now to overtake second place from Gifford Racing Sunoco Express. And right there we've got Tweet Revenge in the middle of your picture. Power Cobra Racing engine inboards and CNG Marine outdrives. This boat is throttled by Larry Goldman, driven by Randy Garcia, and navigated by Rich Schumann. In the first race of the year that they've had with this boat, they took a first place in Ocean City, and it was extremely rough. So they're not really here for points or anything, but they really enjoyed their first place finish in Ocean City, and they've come out here to show that this boat is for real, and they're going to do some fine racing here today for all the fans in Manhattan. And we can expect to see Tweety's Revenge in 1993. Of Art Lily. We've got a good start here, a real clean start, and this looks very good right there with Battery Park down in the background as we look back to the World Trade Centers in Manhattan. What a great backdrop for a very exciting start. And now we're going to go with the first place boat who's off to a very fast lead. From beautiful Key West, Florida, Freeze Frame Video is proud to present the 1992 Budweiser Key West World Championships. Hello again, everyone. Shelly Kahn speaking to you on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the entire Freeze Frame Sports video production staff. Welcome you to beautiful. Norway right there. Sweet Revenge on the outside of the picture right there, moving very nicely. But Gentry's Turbo Eagle really taking off real well, having a great start, picking up right where he left off from Cape Coral last week. And there's Katana on the outside of Sweet Revenge. Great start, a lot of horsepower taken off here at the start of this group of boats. We're going to go with our first boat. It's boat number 8. Actually, it's boat number 13, the Budweiser Race Team. This 37-foot Cougar is powered by two 850 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Marine Racing Incorporated. Driving today is Hugo Colombo from Miami, Florida, and Earl Lanier is on throttles. Budweiser Race Team had a great year, and they're third in the OPT points in the open class for 1992, and we wish him all the best here today in his quest for a championship in the open division. The 47-foot Apache, powered by three 1100 horsepower C&G inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. And slightly ahead of Sweet Revenge on the outside, that's Spirit of Norway. This boat is owned by Dan Morris of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Driving today is Randy Garcia from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Navigating is Richard Schumann from Hollywood, Florida. And on throttles, it's Larry Goldman of Hollywood, Florida. In their first race, they took a first place at Ocean City, and they wound up with a third in the OPT points in the V-Class standings for 1992. through Mallory Square. And now we're coming on boat number 50. It's starting to come up to it now. There it is, and we're going to highlight this boat right now. It's number 50. It's the Apache Heritage Race Team. This 50-foot Apache racing hull is powered by three 1,000 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrive. This boat is owned by Patrick Mercurio of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who does the navigating. Omar Daniel from Monaco is your driver. On throttles, it's Richie Powers from North Miami, Florida, and Tim Morgan is also along for the ride in this boat. A very interesting thing happened during the week with this Apache Heritage Race Team. When they had the boat out, they felt that they realized they had poor visibility from driving this boat. So what they did was they decided to bring the boat back to Apache. So Pat Mercurio, Mark McManus, and Richie Powers brought the boat back to Apache, where at the Apache race headquarters, they trimmed the deck, basically cut the deck down to provide the race crew as they're nestled in their racing cockpits with much greater visibility. So the boat has been returned, and right now that difference has really made the difference for these guys in terms of much better visibility. So much so, in fact, that they're presently running in first place in the Superboat V class, ahead of Diet Right Sunoco Scarab in excess, and having a lead over Tweet Revenge, who we just saw in the Superboat V class. Right there, that Spirit of Norway on the outside, and on the inside, it's Tweet Revenge going by our copter. Tweet Revenge hanging real tough with Apache Heritage and looking very good at this point in the race also. And now we're coming up on Kid Apache Kid. This is a 45-foot Apache powered by three 1,000 horsepower CNG inboard motors with Mercruiser number 6 outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Alan Feingold from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Navigating is Bobby Horn from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And Jerry Davis from Philadelphia is your throttle man.